I'm gonna close the window. Also, that's gross. It looks like probably something that you should not see. It looks like something is growing, and that's probably because it is. Anyway, alright. So, this is going to be kind of a rant, and I feel like what I will probably do is spend some time editing this weekend and actually make just a better video explaining these concepts. Um, so Peyton Manning was on the UC Berkeley campus today. I have no idea why. So it was super poppin'. It's around campus today. I personally hate crowds, especially crowds of whites. So I'm not going out, but definitely gonna spend some time getting rid of shit in my apartment. I've decided to like really stick by this like minimalism ideal that I have and just get rid of shit that I'm not using. Moving on. Okay, so the topics I'm going to cover in this video are one, why UC Berkeley is now known as like the best university in the country. That's ahead of Harvard. Two, what is the deal with Silicon Valley and why is everyone starting a startup? Three, what is the PayPal Mafia? Who does it consist of? And four, who is Peter Thiel and why is Peter Thiel buying property in New Zealand? Five, what does artificial intelligence and robotics have to do with any of that, and why should you care? Okay, so going back. So let's start at the top. So why is UC Berkeley the number one campus, the number one like school, in the country above Harvard? There's a couple reasons for this, and I will kind of like sum it up. So I think a lot of people do not understand social class, and especially a lot of poor people don't understand social class. A lot of wealthy people also don't understand social class, specifically like what the middle class in America looks like. I feel like at this point, people are really comfortable with what being super rich looks like. Like when you have, like Quavo and them dropping like $3 million on the ground and them just fucking forgetting about it, or him carrying around like he had a bag of like $5 million just like in his car when he was doing the singing in the cars with the Londoners or whatever. So I feel like, and then when you've got Beyonce and Jay-Z being billionaires, Rihanna being a billionaire, Puffy being a billionaire, having liquor, like literally owning Ciroc and like having commercials, and then you've got like these crazy rich Asians, and you've got all of just the Rockefellers in America, just people who are like rich, right? We have a really good idea of what that looks like, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand what the middle class and the upper middle class looks like, and like how different the lives are between like the middle class and the upper class. So being a member of the middle class, like I've pretty much been solidly middle class my entire life, but I have like some family members who are like maybe more upper middle class. So those are people who are maybe like their net worth might be like $5 million or something, like $10 million, right? Upper middle class in America, like, okay. Now the thing is, like in communities of color, that seems like it's a lot of money. It's not. But let's go back for a minute to the people who are like middle class. So maybe these are people whose their families are worth maybe like $1 million, right? Because they have like a house and they have savings. And if you combine all of their assets together, maybe they're worth like $1 million, like one family. Like that's pretty good, and most people, like if you have a pretty like white collar job and you have some education, you'll probably amount to like that much in like your life. That's pretty fair. And so the thing is, like, a lot of us who have been, middle class like this our entire lives, we pride education, hard work, and grit. And the thing about being middle class is, like, you actually don't qualify for scholarships or financial aid to college. So, therefore, it doesn't actually make sense to apply to schools like Princeton or Harvard, because, like, you're not going to get, there's just so few people who are going to get academic merit scholarships. That's where they will pay for your entire education, right? And instead, your family's going to have to come out of pocket for that. And so when you're talking about $60,000 a year, that's a pretty big cost for one student. And the middle class also, I feel like the structure there is, it's very structured, right? Like pretty much every single stage of your life has a plan. right? And the whole purpose is like stick to the plan and gradually move forward, right? And so you have every decade of life, you typically have something else going on, and you have some learning things that are going right, because maybe like new technology, new systems are introduced, and then you have to like learn those systems and things like that, right? Okay, so for a very long time, California is just more technologically advanced than the other states. We just have more technology. We've got Stanford and we've got Berkeley, and they've been coming out with all of these startups that have just changed the world. You've got Uber, Airbnb, Lyft, the robotics labs now, the Google. You know, it's like everything that is making the world the way it is right now. Those things are coming out of California, and it's coming out of the brain power of Californians. And a lot of them, most of us, we all grow up in California, mostly in different parts. And I would say, it's, especially if you're talking about the Bay Area and Silicon Valley, when you have a lot of people who are very rich and they live in these neighborhoods, they're investing in public utilities like libraries, public schools, like computer science programs, robotics programs, things like that, so that all students in a particular neighborhood have access to those resources and are able to like thrive in those communities. Now, saying that to say, you have most of the kids, most of the middle class kids, who are growing up in California are way smart. Like they're kind of like way, way, way smarter than the other kids. Like the education that you get, if you are a middle class, especially if you're an upper middle class student, the education that you get in terms of academic education, but also like a social education, kind of understanding how society works, how the world works, culture, like food, music, like swag, all of that type of stuff. I mean, the access that you have is just so much more than everywhere else in the globe. And so other people like aren't really able to like, they don't understand what you're talking about. They don't even understand how to like utilize the resources. Like people don't know what open table is, or how to like use, public transportation systems. They don't understand what valet is. Just a lot of things that are like very basic to like everyone in just like a regular ass neighborhood. They don't have that at all. They've never heard of it or seen it. Okay, so going back. Why does this we're talking? Oh, so that means the kids in California, I think if you watch the movie Clueless, it does a really good job of showing how like public education and the schools in America, you just have so much, you don't even realize that other people have like so little. Like they don't have any of the stuff you have. They don't have good teachers, desks, books, computers. Like they don't have any of that. And they're still like figuring out a way to like to move forward and to like, be great somehow. Anyway, so the point being, where was I? If you're a California student and you have over a 3.0, you're automatically going to get into a UC. So the universities of California, there's like 7, I believe. And they're really great. They have like research budgets in the millions. I think Berkeley at this point might have like $1 billion like research fund. And so there's like researchers or research scientists, right? These are people who have like PhDs in really everything from African American studies to computer science, neurobiology, genetics, really everything. People who are just researchers. All they want to do is spend their entire lives just thinking about whatever the thing is that they studied, and they want to, this is what I want to do, just spend my entire life just thinking about thinking and writing about thinking and thinking about thinking more, just thinking about thinking. And if you're actually spending your time doing that, then you don't really have much time to spend doing like other shit. Like other shit is just like not as important, because you want to spend your life like thinking about thoughts and whatever like particular like research topic that you are focused on. I particularly study meta learning. I will talk about that in another video, but going back. So we were talking about Berkeley. Okay, so for a very long time, all of these kids who are super duper smart, I mean people who have like above 4.0s, have been going to Berkeley, graduating from Berkeley, and doing really awesome shit when they graduate. And then really just going on to get graduate degrees and things. And they have been, like, Berkeley has been a great, university for just a very, very long time. And I think for the first time, there's just been so many like superstar like researchers in one place at one time that like they just brought Reddit a baby there. Like Reddit is this bomb ass like Harvard grad in computer science. She's like a black Ethiopian female, right, with a computer science degree. They've got Peter Thiel there right now. They've got Ken Goldberg there. I mean, they've got an all-star cast of just fucking computer science professors there right now. And obviously, like, the students there are, like, kicking ass. Like, these are students who've been accustomed to machine learning and studying it since maybe, like, they were born, right? So it's a really incredible time to be on that campus, right? And to be really like around Silicon Valley and to have an understanding of like computer science fundamentals and basics and being able to like utilize that at the college level. And I think that another thing about Berkeley is there's no such thing as legacy admissions. So just because your parents get into Berkeley, there's no way that you can just get in just because you're a legacy admit. Whereas places like Harvard and Princeton, they have legacy admissions, which are actually a pretty large percentage of the admissions. So kids are getting into Harvard not because they're smart. Like they could have pretty poor grades, but they're kind of like buying their way in. It's like their parents were rich, their parents had resources, their parents were, you know, maybe at the time smart. That's another thing that's like very weird about like America, which is why I feel like this idea of like American merit is just over. Most Americans are really dumb. What they do is they just do a very good job of transmitting information that they learn on to like the next generation. Like if I know what a cell phone is, sometimes I don't need to know more than that. All I need to know is like I have a cell phone and now I'm going to pass down this cell phone to the next person and like so they understand exactly how to use it and they're going to do the exact same thing and nothing's going to change. And for a while that worked because like technology wasn't really dispersed. And so it was just like those few people who had access to like those few resources and were able to like really become professionals and like, you know, really great in like that one field and that one niche thing. And then they were able to like carve a space for themselves in that. But it doesn't really work now, right? Because startups have really turned into not startups anymore, right? Like Airbnb is not a startup. Facebook's not a startup. There's so many of these Uber, not a startup. Like these companies that were once startups in Silicon Valley have now pivoted. They've shifted the entire culture. They've shifted the world. The world is different because of what these companies have done. And so when you have the people who are working at these startups and who are innovating in these startups and all of those people are coming from public universities in California, it's saying something about the university. It's like that Harvard degree, I don't know how much it means when you're competing with somebody who actually like, there's some people who go to this school in India where it's only like 3 people or something who end up getting who graduate at the end of the year. Cause like, you've got to be so smart to like even get into this school. Like you've got to pivot something like in society, I suppose, to like get in. It's very different than, you know, just being a person simply in New York, right? And just like, I don't know, just getting into a university because your dad did or something. Like, come on, that's not the same. It's not really fair. It's not really anything. I don't think that warrants merit at all. It kind of feels like a cheat, you know? Anyway, so that's why, I mean, there's way more reasons, and maybe I'll do a better job of pointing out exactly what those reasons are and why Berkeley is a better school, and I kind of feel like always has been. The universities of California across the board, though, the school, the quality of the students are just much better, because we even have like a lot of international students who are coming specifically from China, and they'll go to kind of any of the UCs, but they're also just like way smarter than American students. And it's just like way cheaper to go to like Berkeley or one of the UCs than it is to go to like a Harvard or Princeton. And there's a lot of like network effects there where it's kind of like if you're just from California and you know about the UC system, it's really chill and really cool, and like everyone just does shit in life, right? Like it's like you go there, you're gonna like come out and be like solidly middle class, and you're gonna live like a really decent life. And then the next generation, you know, most likely you'll just be happy to do pretty much the same thing. Like you don't need to go like so much farther. You can just kind of like, you know, just be where you are. Whereas like other universities, especially in other states, they're not even invested in academia at this point. They just are becoming like party schools where people are just way dumb. The kids are stupid and they're not getting engineering degrees. They're not really getting degrees in anything. I mean, these students are going to school and they're like graduating, but they barely have the skills that like that I had, say, when I graduated from like high school, which is like fucking nuts because it's like, dude, you have a college degree. You should be able to do something and contribute to society in some way, and they can't even do that. Which is why you have a lot of these like social media influencers now. They're trying to like, I don't know what the fuck they're influencing, but they're like influencing things and trying to like build shit. I don't know what it is. But, you know, may everyone go forth and produce nothing, because what I would say is I just really hope to be able to produce something meaningful for Africa, specifically for Ethiopia, to be able to hopefully help develop the country in a way. I'm not really sure how, but we got to move this shit forward, because I'm just not down with colonialism or white people having really any more power. I think that white people are on the decline and on their way out of the universe. So that's honestly like how I feel. But we'll save that for another day. Okay, so let's go back to what is the PayPal Mafia? Okay, so PayPal obviously is like an app that you can use to transfer money. Now, that might feel like everyone does that now. You've got Cash App, you've got Zelle, you've got whole banking and finance is like huge now, right? Like you can pretty much run your whole life on like an app at this point. Like you've got the Apple Pay. It's like you just don't really need the same shit that you needed before. But at that time, a lot of people just did not believe in electronic payments. It was really hard for businesses to collect payments, to receive payments, and, you know, just having to wait for like fucking snail mail checks to come to get paid. And it's just like, I need my money now. I want electronic, you know, transactions. That's a really big deal. So PayPal coming in and innovating that space was just, it was revolutionary in so many ways. And the people who were working at PayPal, or who founded PayPal, are like Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. I'm just gonna look this up because I don't want to like leave anyone out. Probably the easiest way to read about this would be oh, right, like there's even an infographic here. So Elon Musk, Keith Rabios, David Sachs, Max Levchin, Russell Simmons, Peter Thiel, Steve Chen, Chad Hurley, Jeremy Stoppelman, Reid Hoffman. So if you're looking at, they sold PayPal for quite a lot of money at that time. And then they went and they built other companies with the money that they made from selling PayPal. So like these companies are like YouTube, SpaceX and Tesla, LinkedIn, Yelp, Kiva, Slide, Square, right? Like these companies they are literally running the society right now. And these companies didn't exist, right? Until the money coming from the money that they got from selling PayPal, they used it to invest in these other companies. Okay, and so let's go back again, because I said I was going to talk about why is everyone starting a startup now. Well, I feel like a lot of people are finally realizing like, oh my God, there's really this thing to like having a system and being able to like utilize that system to get ahead, whatever that means for you, because there's like a million different career paths that you could take in your life, right? But like actually having a system and saying like, here are the steps that you take to actually do this, and here's how it works, and if you follow these steps, I mean, you will be successful in doing this. It's kind of a little bit harder than it sounds. Like it sounds pretty simple, but it's not really that. It's not really as simple as you might think it is. And so a lot of people are starting startups to try to like solve small problems and hopefully being able to like create a solution, right, that is like a process and a system, and get that system to transmit out to other parts of the country and really the world, in terms of like world domination, in terms of the solution to that problem. So like the idea for something like Square, or like Google, right? Google is really like a huge search engine that has mapped all of the information on the internet. And hopefully by now, the idea is all of the information is on the internet. And so now Google can be this great index where you can like search and you can find anything that you're looking for like on the internet. The problem is there are some people who are actually not connected to the internet right now. There are others who actually don't know how to use the internet in the same way that others do. So there's like this accessibility problem, and a lot of that has to do with class and race and culture. So like there are some people who know how to utilize technology, and they're able to like use technology to really benefit and enhance their lives in like all these ways. But there's other people who really don't. Like they don't know how to create a blog post. Maybe they don't know how to upload a YouTube video. They don't know how to have a channel or go places or create a food blog, or just any of the things that are like super cool and that would make your life like so interesting to live. Like they just don't know how to do those things, and not in like some funny or ironic way. It's like they actually just really don't know how. So it just kind of sucks. It just sucks. And yeah. Okay, let's go back for a minute, because I talked about the PayPal Mafia. Oh, so who is Peter Thiel, and why is he important in the story? So Peter Thiel is the guy. He's one of the PayPal Mafia members, but he's also like a managing partner. He started Palantir. And he also started Founders Fund. And now Founders Fund is super important because a lot of like really small startups, like instead of there's Y Combinator, which is like this startup incubator accelerator program for like unknown founders with really good ideas who want to get seed funding to be able to fund their startup idea and like move it forward. So a lot of people have literally come from nothing. All they've had is an idea, and they've gone through Y Combinator and like used all these like processes and methods that you go through in Y Combinator to get their idea like off of the ground and into the future. Now the Founders Fund is kind of like that, but I think it's a little more selective in terms of like who they choose and how they help their startup founders to move forward. Anyway, so Peter Thiel is also really, really important because, at least to me, I think that Peter Thiel is a really important player when it comes to Silicon Valley and big ideas, because he is one of the people who's actually stood up and said, I don't see the importance of college at this point. I think that most people should not go to college at this point because it's a waste of time and money. And he started a fund basically where he would offer really smart students money, like cash money, to go and do something else with their lives, like start a startup or do something else, and just to forego college and take this other path instead. I think that's interesting for many reasons, and I also agree with him in a really big way when he's saying, like, I don't see the significance. I don't think that college is as important as it once was. But, I will say that for most poor students of color or even international students, I don't think that is the case. I think that if you have one person in your family that has gone through college and graduated, then yes. And unless you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or like a really high-powered business person, I don't actually think that you should need to go to college. I would have to agree with Peter Thiel. Like, I think, or like, let's say maybe you want to be like a psychiatrist, right? It's still a type of doctor, but like a therapist, something like that, where you actually do need, there's a lot of critical thinking involved, and you need to like understand certain processes in order to be able to serve like your clients, and there's all these people problems. I don't know if college is the route for you, especially since most of the people graduating from college at this point are just going to work jobs that they didn't need a college degree for in the first place. So it's weird. And then there's another thing where I do feel like, in terms of the actual challenging career paths that are available and that we need filled, like we do need more lawyers, and we do need more doctors, and we do need more therapists, and like we definitely need more smart people in society. We need more data scientists, like things like that. Like we need these people in society, and we need them to be able to do their jobs, and we definitely need them. Now the problem is, like, most of the people who are going to most of the colleges, they aren't even qualified to do those jobs. Like, they're just really dumb. So what we have now is just a whole bunch of people who've graduated, and they're like qualified to do literally nothing. You, at least if you wouldn't have gone to college and you would have gotten a job somewhere else, really anywhere, Target, Walmart, wherever, then you would have been able to like build up some skills over time, social skills that have to do with like readiness, maybe in terms of showing up to work on time, being able to interact with other humans, customer service, sales, even understanding a business, like whatever industry that you're in, and using those skills, right? Like that's useful too. But now these kids are graduating and they don't even have those skills, and it's just very strange, because we don't need a bunch of people with like useless degrees walking around in society. It would be different if we had like an entire society full of lawyers or a whole society full of doctors, but we don't even fucking have that. Or let us have a whole society full of computer scientists. I'll take that, but we don't even have that. And it's like very strange. Like, just like everyone has a sociology degree. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some people, and here's what I think. I think a lot of the people, like there's some people in society who've been working at like Walgreens for 30 years. I mean, honestly, like those people deserve an opportunity to go get a sociology degree, because there's so many things about society that they probably don't understand. Society's changed a lot, and there's things about race and culture and ethnicity and class and gender, all this shit that like these people don't understand, because they've never had a proper education. And even the education that they got from K through 12 is just outdated. It's completely like useless. Like they're living in another world, really. And it's very strange, especially since these are mothers and grandmothers, whatever the fuck that means at this point. But like, yeah. Moving on. And so I think the last topic in this is a very skewed video. Like there's not much order here, but I'll try to fix it and make a better video at a later time. But why is Peter Thiel buying property, and why are all of the wealthy people buying property in New Zealand? Now, I don't think this is everyone. I think that this is just the wealthy white people. And the reason for this is I think that they see something that Octavia Butler has seen for a very long time. It's that we are in a place of urban decay. Like, the middle class, to an extent, is kind of over, simply because globalization has enabled really anyone who has, like, a brain, even, like, half a brain at this point. If you got, like, half a brain and the internet, you could pretty much figure out a way to, like, get enough skills to be better than a person doing a job right now in America, because people here are just so dumb. They're just so dumb. Like, they don't know anything. And all of the classes at this point are online. So if you have a computer and you're in the developing world, all you need to do is just get good at one thing. Like, pick a subject. If you're like, I want to be a sociologist, go watch all of the videos on this from like Harvard or whatever school it is that you want to go to, and take really great notes on it and be able to talk about it and understand the material, and then maybe come to America and get an advanced degree in sociology, and then just go work in one of the like public health offices somewhere and help with there's a bunch of fucking social problems in America. One thing that we are not short of are social fucking problems. We've got so many of them here. There's a lot of social problems. Public health, another one that's huge right now, right? The coronavirus has shown us we need more epidemiologists and like public health officials, like bioinformatics. Things like that are actually super important, and we need more people who are like skilled in those types of career paths. Or, I mean, the list can go on. We actually need more computer scientists, right? People who know how to like utilize technology and build tools that are useful for society. But like, who's building these things? And I guess like, who really has the skills to do this? Or even analysts. I don't know why more people aren't thinking about how to be an analyst, what it means to be an analyst, and how to really do it and make some fucking data visualizations, because like those things are super useful and we really need that right now. But I guess like this shit just I don't know. I can't really explain to you like why people are not interested in doing that type of stuff. I don't know, whatever. So, I think, sorry, to go back to Octavia E. Butler and Parable of the Sower, the point is that is a book, and that book is basically about this world where all of these, like, bald head people who, they put this, like, painted color on their skin. They like go around the whole country just burning shit, burning towns up, killing people. It's just anarchy and chaos, right? The whole country has turned into chaos, and there's this like small community of people who kind of like found each other after their gated community has been burned down, and they try to like figure out how to survive. And I feel like that is actually like what we're living in right now with the coronavirus. You've got the trillionaires and the billionaires, and you've got the different like social ethnic groups, you've got the racism, I mean, you've got the like, there's a lot of shit happening here all at the same time, and it's very weird. I feel like a lot of people like don't really know how to deal with it, and I think that other people are trying to like really just trying to understand the society in which we live, which is just, it's so different from anything that it ever has been in the past. Like, we've never lived in a time where things worked like they are working now. It's just, it's different and it's new, and it's kind of weird. It's weird. Okay. And where else was I going with this? So Peter Thiel and a lot of the other like really wealthy white people are moving to New Zealand because they just don't want to be a part of America when it falls apart. And New Zealand is a pretty peaceful place, right? Like a lot of the problems that we are witnessing in America, we have just never witnessed those type of problems in New Zealand. And so basically, these people are striving for peace and trying to really like preserve the lives of like their family members, because I think they too realize that most of the people on the planet are brown, and they do, like, there's only 700 million white people on the planet. There's like at least 4 billion black people in Africa, and then there's like 3 billion or something Asian people in Asia. And there's a lot of, I don't think Latinos are a race, but whatever they are, there's a lot of them too. So the white people are just like outnumbered at like just an incredible rate. And the representation of black, brown people is just rising. And so more people are just realizing all of these like opportunities that they have to do really whatever it is that they want to do. And that is really changing. Like, I think a lot of whiter people had a lot of power before because they had this like idea in their minds that like they were better, they were smarter, they had more access to resources for some way, and they did not. No, the entire world, I feel like at this point realizes that they do not, and so they have to almost like deal with the fact that I feel like they are inferior, and that is something that is challenging, but I will save that also for another day. So that's tonight's rant.